All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling the world's first ever major law for artificial intelligence. You've probably heard of it, the EU AI Act. And look, if you use AI in any way, shape or form in your business, and let's be honest, who doesn't these days, then you're going to want to stick around. Think of this as your survival guide.
So, you hear a massive new regulation has just landed, and I get it, you're probably thinking, great, more complexity, more red tape. But here's the real question you need to be asking yourself. Are you ready? Because this thing, it affects companies far beyond the borders of Europe.
And if you're wondering why you need to be ready, well, this number pretty much says it all. 35 million euros. That's the maximum fine. Or get this, it could be up to 7% of your company's entire global turnover. We are not talking about a slap on the wrist here. This isn't just another piece of paperwork. Getting this wrong has serious business-altering consequences.
Okay, let's dive into the fundamentals. To really get a handle on this, we need to know what this law actually is, who it applies to, and maybe, most importantly, how soon you really need to act.
You know, at its heart, the EU AI Act is all about building trust. It's about making sure AI is used safely and ethically. But here's the part that you really need to hear. Its reach is huge. It doesn't matter one bit where your company is based. If you offer AI services to any customers in the EU, this law applies to you. Period.
Now, the Act has two key roles, and you've got to figure out which one you are. A provider is pretty straightforward. That's a company that actually builds and sells its own AI tools. But a lot of you watching are probably deployers. That just means you use someone else's AI software. So if you've got an AI chatbot on your website or you use an AI tool for sales analytics, bingo, you're a deployer, and that comes with its own set of rules.
And listen, this isn't some problem for the distant future. The timeline is already rolling. The first outright bans on certain AI systems start in February 2025. Then, rules for the big general-purpose AI models kick in that August. And the main obligations for what they call high-risk systems, those start in August 2026. The clock is officially, and very loudly, ticking.
Okay, I know this all sounds incredibly complicated, but believe it or not, the entire law is built around one simple idea: a risk pyramid. If you can just get your head around these 4 levels, you will understand the entire act. I promise.
That's it. That's the secret. The higher the potential risk an AI system poses to our safety or our basic rights, the stricter the rules get. It's a really smart tiered approach. So let's break down that pyramid, starting from the very top.
Right at the peak, we have what's called unacceptable risk. These are the AI systems that are considered so dangerous that they're just banned. Outright. We're talking about things like government social scoring or maybe emotion recognition software in the workplace. These are totally off limits in the EU.
Okay, the next level down is the one that's going to be most important for most businesses. This is the high-risk category, and this is where most of the heavy lifting for compliance is going to happen. If your AI is used for something critical, like sorting through job applications, deciding on credit scores, or in medical tech, it lands right here and it's going to face some very strict rules. Below that, things get a little easier. We've got limited risk. The key word for this level is transparency. It's really simple. If you have a chatbot, you have to make it crystal clear to your users that they're talking to an AI. Same goes for deepfakes. You just can't pretend your bot is a human. It's all about being upfront. And finally, at the very bottom of the pyramid, we have minimal risk. And here's the good news. The vast majority of AI tools that we all use every day fall right into this bucket. Think about your email spam filter or the recommendation engine on a shopping site. For these, there are no new legal rules under the Act. Phew.
All right, let's zoom in on that critical category, high risk. If you've looked at your tools and realized, uh-oh, one of my systems falls here, then this next part is your essential checklist. Pay close attention.
So for these high-risk systems, it really all boils down to process and, you guessed it, documentation. You're going to need a solid system for managing risk. You have to make sure your data is clean, relevant, and unbiased. And you've got to keep super detailed technical records. But here's the big one. Human oversight. There has to be a way for a person, a real human being, to step in and say nope and override the AI. And this isn't a set it and forget it kind of deal. You have to keep monitoring how that AI is doing out in the real world, continuously.
But look, this isn't just about jumping through hoops to avoid fines. As one expert perfectly put it, being proactive here is a strategic win. Think about it. These rules basically force you to build better, safer, more reliable AI. So compliance isn't just a chore, it's a direct path to a higher quality product and ultimately more trust from your customers.
And just in case you weren't convinced, the consequences for getting this wrong are, well, they're severe. Using a banned AI carries that massive 35 million euro fine we talked about. But even just failing on your high-risk duties, like not having that human oversight, or worse, providing fake documentation, that can still land you with multi-million euro penalties. The stakes are just incredibly high.
So, you get the rules. You understand the risks. The big question is, what do you do now? Let's make it simple. Here's a 3-step action plan you can start on the second this explainer is over.
Okay, step 1, map your AI footprint. Make a list of every single AI tool you use, no matter how small, and figure out if you're a provider or deployer for each one. Step 2, classify everything. Use that risk pyramid and put every tool into one of the 4 buckets. Step 3, prioritize. If you find anything in that top unacceptable category, stop using it today. Then, for everything in the high-risk bucket, start that documentation process right now. Don't wait.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. The EU AI Act is here. It's a reality, and you can look at it one of 2 ways. You can see it as just another barrier, another regulatory headache, or you could see it as a blueprint, a guide for building AI that's safer, more ethical, and actually earns the trust of your customers. Because for the businesses that get this right, compliance won't just be a cost, it's going to be a real competitive advantage.